The crystalline goblet gleamed under the bioluminescent chandeliers of the Zorvathian palace, its contents swirling with an iridescent purple that seemed to pulse with malevolent intent. Emma Chun, human diplomat's assistant, watched from her position near the refreshment table as the alien Prince Kelthor approached, his silver skin shimmering as he reached for the very cup she'd been analyzing. Time slowed. Emma's enhanced perception, a standard modification for diplomatic staff, caught the microscopic particles floating in the liquid, the way they clustered in patterns completely foreign to Zorvathian chemistry. This wasn't refreshment. This was assassination. Without thinking, Emma lunged forward, her human reflexes surprisingly quick in the lighter gravity. She grabbed the goblet from the prince's four-fingered hand and, before anyone could stop her, drained it in 3 large gulps. The effect was instantaneous and catastrophic. Emma's nervous system erupted in fire. Every cell in her body screamed as the poison, designed specifically to target Zorvathian royal DNA, tried and failed to find its intended markers. Instead, it ravaged through her human biology like a tsunami through a paper city. She collapsed, convulsing on the polished floor as the entire diplomatic reception descended into chaos. "Get her to medical." That was Jack Morrison's voice, her colleague, and the only other human in the room. Strong arms lifted her, but Emma couldn't see anymore. Her vision had turned to static, her hearing to white noise. The last thing she remembered before darkness claimed her was the cold certainty that she'd just committed the most spectacular form of suicide in interstellar diplomatic history. Emma woke to the sterile white of a medical bay, but something was fundamentally wrong. The lights were too bright, yet she could see every photon dancing in the air. The air recyclers hummed at a frequency that should have been subsonic, but she could hear every harmonic. And most disturbing of all, she could feel her cells dividing, regenerating, evolving. "She's awake." Jack's face appeared above her, haggard with exhaustion and relief. Behind him stood a Zorvathian medical officer, her tertiary eyes wide with what could only be described as scientific horror. "How long?" Emma's voice came out stronger than expected, clearer. 3 days, Jack said. "Emma, you should be dead. That poison, it was night venom, synthesized from the death spores of Kepler 442b. 1 drop can kill a Zorvathian prince in minutes. You drank an entire goblet." The medical officer stepped forward, her translator device rendering her clicks and whistles into standard English. "What you did should have been impossible, human. The night venom doesn't just kill. It unmakes living tissue at the molecular level. Yet you're here. Whole. Changed. Changed how?" Emma sat up, and the movement felt different. More efficient. Her muscles responded with precision that bordered on precognition. Jack pulled up a holographic display. "Your blood work is..." "Emma, I don't even know how to explain this. The poison tried to kill you, but your immune system did something unprecedented. Instead of just fighting it off, your body analyzed it, broke it down, and rewrote your genetic code to not just resist it, but to resist everything." Everything. Emma watched as data streams flowed across the projection. Toxin after toxin, pathogen after pathogen, all neutralized by her blood samples. "We tested you against every known poison in the galactic database," the medical officer said, her professional composure cracking into something like awe. "Venom from the acid serpents of Draxon 4. Plague spores from the Forgotten Nebula. Even synthetic nerve agents that can kill through environmental suits. Your antibodies don't just neutralize them, they adapt in real time, creating countermeasures before the threat can even register." Emma looked at her hands, flexing fingers that felt simultaneously familiar and alien. "So I'm immune to everything?" "Not just immune," Jack corrected. "Your body has become a universal synthesizer. Radiation that would turn other species into tumorous masses just makes you feel warm. We exposed a blood sample to hard vacuum. The cells went dormant, but revived the moment we repressurized. Emma, you've become effectively unkillable by any biochemical or environmental means we can test." The implications crashed over her like a wave. In a galaxy where biological warfare and environmental hazards killed millions, where colonies failed because of incompatible atmospheres, and where first contact sometimes meant first plague, she had become something unprecedented. "The assassin," Emma said suddenly. "Did they catch whoever poisoned the drink?" Jack's expression darkened. "That's the complicated part. It was a Zorvathian nationalist group. They wanted to prevent the prince from signing the treaty with the Terran Federation. They saw humans as inferior, unworthy of equal partnership. The irony wasn't lost on Emma. In trying to kill their own prince to prevent human alliance, the assassins had created something that would force the entire galaxy to reevaluate what humanity was capable of. Prince Kael'thor entered the medical bay, his ceremonial robes rustling. He approached Emma's bed and performed the Zorvathian gesture of infinite debt, a complicated movement involving all four arms that took years to master. Emma Chun of Earth, his translator, rendered his harmonics into words. You have saved my life and, in doing so, have demonstrated the worthiness of humanity beyond any treaty or negotiation. What you have become, what your sacrifice has made you, will echo through the stars. Emma met his multifaceted eyes. I didn't do it for politics, Your Highness. I did it because it was the right thing to do. And that, the prince said, is precisely why the galaxy needs humanity. 3 months later, Emma stood in the observation deck of the research vessel Prometheus, watching as they approached a quarantined world, a planet ravaged by a biological weapon so virulent that it had been declared permanently uninhabitable. Jack stood beside her, reviewing the mission parameters. Are you sure about this? Emma smiled, feeling the steady hum of her transformed biology, the immune system that could adapt to anything the universe threw at it. Someone has to go down there, Jack. Someone has to prove that lost worlds can be reclaimed, that humanity doesn't just survive. We help others survive too. As the ship entered orbit, Emma Chun, the woman who drank poison and woke up immune to everything, prepared to do what humans had always done best, turn disaster into hope, and impossibility into just another Tuesday. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, filled with 1,000 ways to die. But for Emma, death had become just another thing to adapt to, and she was very good at adapting to the indie.